Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Game 3 of this 4-game set between the Rockies and the team with the best record in baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. And it will be, as it typically is, a sea of red tonight at Busch Stadium. We welcome you to a beautiful Midwestern evening Saturday night, and folks come in from near and far, especially in the summer, the tourist season. They're Cardinal fans throughout the Midwest, and many have made the trip in. In fact, when I was out for a jog earlier at the Gateway Arch, there were a ton of tourists naturally in that direction, and the Rockies getting ready to go. They had picture day today, so both teams hit very early in the afternoon, then had some time off. Charlie Blackmon at .290. He's had a terrific year. He'll lead things off. Rockies will give Jose Reyes his first day off in a Rockies uniform, so DJ LeMahieu in Walt's lineup will slide up to the 2 spot. Then red-hot Carlos Gonzalez now up to 279. Nolan Arenado next. He has the 78 RBIs leading the game. Ben Paulson, Michael McHenry doing the catching this evening. Drew Stubbs will get the start in left field. Daniel Descalso at short, and De La Rosa's on the mound. Big Lance Lynn, he's out of the state of Indiana. He had one of the most decorated high school careers you can imagine. And he has taken his talents to the big leagues, and he's never disappointed. George, he pounds the strike zone. You'll see the fastball 85% of the time.
Yeah, he doesn't walk anybody. You look at right now at what he's got going on. Just 37 walks, 124 strikeouts. And he's 8-5, but if they scored some runs for him, he's got the 4th lowest run support in baseball at 2.86 runs per start. Hadn't allowed a home run in his last 26 innings. And the bad news for the Rockies, he's 33-13 in 67 ball games here in this ballpark.
So the crowd settling in. Charlie Blackmon is ready to go. Lance Lynn's ERA good for 10th best in the National League, and he has the 6th best strikeout to innings pitched ratio. He strikes out better than a batter per inning. So here we go, and the fastball's in there for a strike at 88 on the outside corner. The Rockies were held to just 6 hits in losing 7-0 yesterday. They had only 1 extra base hit. That was the double in the first inning by Cargo. 90 degrees our game time temperature. And that pitch is fouled off at 91. And that's about where his fastball will sit, 91, 92 miles an hour. But he is able to use all quadrants of the strike zone with that heater. He has great command.
When he first came up to the big leagues, that fastball was ranging 93, 95, but he didn't have the command to go with it.
Tried to touch the outside corner and he missed. Mike Estabrook's the home plate umpire. 2-2 count on Charlie. Ryan Blackney's at first. Paul Nauert's the crew chief. He's at second. Ed Hickox is at third base. And this ball's well hit right center field. This one is way back and gone. No, maybe not. They say it's in play.
Well, that really looked like
they're going to have to take a look at that. Charlie's at third for the moment. That looked like it hit above the wall. At least, you know, we're 6 miles away, but it looked like that was over the wall.
I'm looking to see if they'll have a umpire's chief review of this as they did last night on a ball.
Walt's coming out. He's talking at least initially to Ed Hickox. It's the second base umpire, Paul Nauert's call. They're going to take a look at this. This ball was absolutely blasted.
They were just talking about 248 runs.
That's gone.
248 innings without a home run. Well, did it hit right on the padding? What did it actually hit on?
But and then what did it skip off of?
It had to come off that back fence behind it. To me, it's a home run.
Yeah.
To me, it's a home run. We'll just see what they come up with.
Charlie's going to get to move the extra 90 feet.
Yeah, let's hope so. And this is one of the few parks that does not have the yellow line all the way around the top of the ballpark. There was a lot of discussion when they built this because of left center, right center, they have the bushes right behind the fence line, and it makes it even harder when you have the green padding.
It's time for a Subaru review right out of the gate. How about that? Whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes. The second set of eyes is going to determine that this ball hit off the top of the fence and then hit whatever that fencing is, George, to keep the fans away from the that little garden area.
Well, let's credit Charlie Blackmon too. He didn't think it was going to be a double, and that it was going to be ground rule or a home run. He didn't Cadillac. He was sprinting the entire time and ended up at third base. If that's what they end up calling this, is a triple, not at second.
There's no way the ball could bounce like that.
Here we go.
Come on, circle the finger in the air.
Safe.
Wow. I cannot believe that.
It was not a challenge by Walt. It was a crew chief challenge to make sure he had the call correct. So Walt still has his challenge available.
We'll find out in a little bit. I guess they're saying they couldn't determine unequivocally that it went over. What in the world did it hit then?
I say put a beam all the way around the outfield. The beam's broke. It'll lit up like a guy shooting the goal in hockey, and then you'll know. Huh.
Well,
there's a little bit of ledge, cement ledge right there behind that wall.
Yeah, but see that's
on the other side of the wall.
See that fencing right there, George? That's what it hit.
I don't know if it hit that or not, Drew. I think it came straight down. It may have hit where the pad joins the cement behind it. Yeah,
those folks know.
Yeah. Go out and ask them. Mark, go ask those guys and see what they tell you.
Well, this is a Cardinal thing. They have the infield halfway in. See if we can determine a little bit more on this look.
See, the ball hit. If it hits coming down any other way, that ball would skip into the stands. So it had to hit something coming back to bring the ball back into fair territory.
Hard smash to first. No advancement by Blackmon. And Brandon Moss recovers to get the out. One gone. And that'll bring up Cargo. Now we're being told, because our great staff at the truck is able to look at things slowly and so forth, they believe that it hit the top of the wall and then skipped off that plexiglass partition there, Fridge, and then shot back onto the field. I thought it hit that little metal post there. Something shot it back on the field. Now the infield will come completely in. Cargo at the plate. That misses ball one.
And don't be surprised if he tries, even though you got Nolan in the on-deck circle, what he would do to keep the ball out of Cargo's hands as hot as he's been. So tell you, stay away, away, away. And if you get him to reach for a ball, okay, fine.
One ball, one strike. Pitch was off the plate. Philosophically, why do you think the Cardinals, who pitch so well, why do you think they do this in the very first inning, bring the infield in, George?
Because he didn't give any run support.
Well, he's got an issue now. Deep right field. Hayward going back, still going back, and at the wall is going to make the catch, and that'll get the run home. So the Rockies take a 1-0 lead. Cargo with his 53rd RBI. He came within a smidgen of hitting that out.
You got a guy on the mound that doesn't get a lot of run support. We just mentioned less than 3 per start this year. You got a guy that typically strikes out a lot of people. He struck out, and you look at these numbers, 116 with 127 strikeouts. Bring him in halfway. If they get on the ball, we got a ground ball. Maybe we can get a play at the plate. If not, they hit the fly ball. The run's going to score anyway. Let's take our chances at 3/4 in the middle and up tight on the corner. There's the run support talking about in the National League. Shelby Miller's the guy getting crushed on that deal. He's not getting any support. Dougie, that come close, Dougie? How close was it? Could we catch it? Then it wasn't close. Did I have to duck? It wasn't close. Foul ball.
Did you get one while I was gone?
No. Nor do I want one. That hurt.
2 strikes on Nolan. I'll tell you something that's amazing. Nolan has had a gorgeous season. a no-doubt all-star this year. To give you an idea of how hot Carlos Gonzalez has been, for 2.5 months, all we talked about is, you hope Cargo could get going. He was below 200 for a month, and then, in the low 200s. Cargo's hitting higher than Nolan is right now. Coming into the ball game, 279 for Gonzalez, 276 for Arenado. Cargo's sac fly to deep right brings home Charlie Blackmon, who tripled leading off the game. 1-0 Colorado. De La Rosa, Lance Lynn hooking up on a Saturday night at Busch Stadium. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout. And there's Matt Carpenter. The Rockies have had some issues getting Carpenter out, to say the least, in this series. He has 6 hits, including 3 home runs. Here's the Southwest batting order for Mike Matheny. Randall Grichuk will bat second. Colton Wong in the 3rd spot. It's the 2nd time in his career. Johnny Peralta bat cleanup. He homered last night. Jason Hayward, the former Brave. Yadier Molina, the future Hall of Famer. Brandon Moss, recently acquired. Stephen Piscotty, he had a big 2-run double last night. And then Lance Lynn. Well, De La Rosa, George, you were kind of describing it in the open. In Chicago, what a strange outing. His first 3 innings were perfect, literally. 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. Very small pitch count, and he couldn't get out of the 4th inning despite the fact that the Rockies had staked him to a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, difficult time for him in the 4th inning. Things started to blow up, I think, on the finger. Couldn't get the release point. Started to walk batters. Since putting on a Rocky uniform, he's 6-2 against St. Louis with a .351 earned run average. Leadoff men starting an inning, just .207 against him. Talked about his road average in the open today, 4-2. With a 3 ERA.
So here's Carpenter. Thursday night, he snapped out of a slump with a 4-hit performance, a 4 RBI performance, and a 4-run scored performance. And the first pitch tonight from De La Rosa is in there for a strike.
He put on a show. There's no question about it. I mean, he had 2 home runs, dead center field here at Busch Stadium. He got a hanging slider that he took down the right field line for a home run as he's carried this club on his back. Matheny put him in the leadoff spot for one reason, and that was to get more at bats, to get see it a little bit, try to get him out of the slump that he had been in, and he's come out of it the first 2 games.
He's always been a high on base percentage guy, so hitting him at the top of the lineup certainly makes some sense.
Well, with the loss of Matt Holliday, Matheny talked about, who do I put in the 3-hole, who do I put in the 4-hole, how do I match things up, how am I going to protect people with Matt out of the lineup.
It truly is remarkable how consistent this club has been, and this year on the cusp of being 30 games over 500, despite the fact that their first baseman's been out for the whole year, their ace has been out for the whole year in Adam Wainwright, and Matt Holliday Missed 31 games recently with that quad strain. Right back, unfortunately, for Matt on the DL as he re-injured that quad. But they just keep rolling.
Well, you talked about Wainwright. Well, no problem. I mean, you look at the rotation with Wainwright gone and not a part of this. You go, what are we going to do? Well, how about 9-6, 8-5, 12-4, 11-4 from these four? And Lockie's probably been the best. The record doesn't show that. And then the combination of Garcia, Cooney, Wainwright, he's an early start in the year, and they're 8-6.
3-1 on Carpenter, and that's in there 3-2. The only guy who has an ERA above 3, and it's barely over 3, is Michael Wacha.
He had 2 starts there. For about 4 starts, he was 1-1 with a 6 ERA. Well, didn't show up last night. 7 shutout.
Yeah, 7 shutout innings for Wacha last night. Said he made a couple minor adjustments in his bullpen sessions leading into the start against the Rockies, and he was terrific yesterday. 3-2. Swung on and missed. Carpenter's gone. And a good start for De La Rosa. The Rockies defensively. In left field, Drew Stubbs will patrol left tonight. In center field, Charlie Blackmon. Cargo is over in right. Daniel Descalso, the former Cardinal, will start at shortstop next to Nolan Arenado. Jose Reyes being given the evening off. DJ LeMahieu at second. Ben Paulson at first. And Michael McHenry getting the start behind the plate. Here's Randall Grichuk, former #1 pick of the Angels back in 2009.
He's been a huge boost to this ball club, and base hit up the middle out of the reach of Descalso. 11 home runs, 36 RBIs, hitting .285.
John Jay has a wrist situation. I think part of the Cardinal mystique is there is a huge expectation, no matter who you are, where you've come from. When you put that uniform on, you find a way to win.
Well,
that's what every team aspires to, but
right.
The Cardinals have mastered it.
The expectations are extremely high here every single year, and all that was built from years ago. And George Kissel, who spent 66 years in the organization.
So here's the product of the University of Hawaii, Colton Wong. He was a #1 pick, 2011 by the Cardinals. It's a versatile player in that you can hit him in a number of different spots in the lineup. He can run, so you can hit him near the top of the lineup. He has some pop, so you can put him in the 3-hole, put him in an RBI spot.
What's interesting with all these great players they've had and guys that have come to the big leagues, they've had one Rookie of the Year in the last 28 years. Albert Pujols in 2001. The Dodgers seem to have about 30. Starting in 1978 with Rick Sutcliffe.
Well, they had that run, George, in the 90s where they won Rookie of the Year every season. Or was it 5 straight years? Two-strike count. De La Rosa taking his time, getting ready to make the delivery. And that's blocked nicely by McHenry. It's not just blocking the baseball, keeping it in front. It's deadening it in a little 3-foot area. So if the runner on that dirt ball tried to move up, it's a grab and throw, and you have a great chance to get him out.
It also depends also on the pitch. If it's a breaking ball, obviously you got to get out a little bit farther and try to beat it in the ground, only because of the spin on the baseball.
This is pulled foul.
Another sellout crowd here. A couple of nights ago they had 43,000. Supposed to be sold out tonight, tomorrow, or last night, tonight, and tomorrow. Last night was Lou Brock bobblehead night at the ballpark. Today was Build-A-Bear at the ballpark.
See some old friends last couple days?
Yeah, seen some pretty good buddies. Red Shandies, Lou Brock, Mike Shannon, Tim McCarver.
In the air, left center field, Stubbs and Blackmon. It'll be Drew.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Saw C.J. Cherry. C.J. was the traveling second. I kid him. I said, your hair was blonde. You had more when I was here. That was 1978.
And your hair was less gray then.
Yeah, a lot less gray.
And you had a skunk.
I didn't have a skunk in the middle of my forehead.
Right. Johnny Peralta, the shortstop, coming up for the Cardinals. There were some that were skeptical, George. Remember when they went out and got Peralta? Well, how would he be defensively? Will he fit in?
Well, part of that, he had served the suspension, something that the Cardinals don't go through. And they were concerned, you know, how that's going to be accepted by these fans. You know, he's won them over with his bat and his play defensively and offensively.
Curveball in there for a strike from Dela. 2 outs, Grichuk at first.
Peralta 208 and 24 at bats against De La Rosa.
Yeah, the Cardinals collectively, George, were in a miserable slump prior, unfortunately, to the Rockies arriving, and they've broken out. For instance, Peralta was 1 for his prior 23, and he's 4 for 8 in the series. Matt Carpenter couldn't buy a hit for about a 3-week stretch. He's gone off in the series. Carpenter was 7 for his previous 46. You know, it's been a long 4 days for De La Rosa. A very prideful man. He's had so much success in a Rockies uniform, and to be given a 4-0 lead on the road and to not be able to navigate that 4th inning, you know, it was not a fun period for him, as emotional as he is, as competitive as he is.
And that's where the pitching coach has the dual roles of a starter, getting him fired up in his bullpens, making everything work. Hey, we're all right. We'll get through this next start. And then on the flip side of that, Steve Foster has to rely on giving confidence back to the bullpen. The bullpen, the manager and the pitching coach, you mess up a ball game, if you're one of the guys, you're back out there rather quickly, and that gives you the confidence that they believe in you. No different than a guy in an 0 for 10, 0 for 12 slump continues to get that opportunity in the lineup.
Dela beat the Cardinals earlier this year in Denver. 7 innings, allowed just 3 runs. Runner going, and it's fouled off again, 1-2.
Grichuk only has 4 stolen bases. He's only been caught 1 time, but he's got pretty good speed. They're base stealers on their ball club. Colton Wong has 11, Jason Hayward with 15, and then everybody else in single digits. Pitching, defense, and the bullpen. That's how the Cardinals win baseball games. Been a pretty good formula for a long time.
Yes, it has. 2-2 on Peralta. Peralta just 5 for 24 lifetime in his matchups with De La Rosa, but he does have a couple of home runs against Jorge.
Not a big lead at first, but a lead. Dale's got him leaning. Anytime a left-hander has a base runner, starting first move is to lean back towards the bag, you've got him whipped. He's not getting a good read. He can't pick up the ball. He can't pick up your leg kick, what you're doing. Maloney giving an awful little conversation to Randall and trying to make sure that he has it in the right direction.
Two outs. Here's the 2-2. And that's inside. 3-2. So now Grichuk will be moving again. Right-handed hitters this year hitting just .233 against De La Rosa. Surprisingly, lefties are hitting .303. Historically, they've hit just .230 against De La Rosa. And righties in his career .268. So those numbers have flip-flopped this year. This is top to third and an easy play for Nolan. We have played 1 inning. The Rockies have a 1-0 lead against Lance Lynn and the Cardinals. Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. A bustling ballpark, that is typical. Cardinals Nation filled up at Busch Stadium tonight. Top of the second inning. The Rockies will have Ben Paulson to lead it off. Colorado up 1-0. Called strike on Ben. Got another Clemson buddy with him in that dugout now that Kyle Parker's back in the big leagues.
They have a little conversation about how things went on down there.
That is fouled off. 2-strike count on Paulson. Parker and Paulson played together for a couple of seasons at Clemson. Outside 2-1. Or 1-2, I should say. Two and 2. Ben's 1 for 7 in the series. He has never faced Lance Lynn.
It came up at the end of the year when St. Louis didn't come through town. So, you know, when he plays a Central 6, maybe 7 total times a year. Once here, once at home.
It's back up the middle, and it's a nice pickup by Colton Wong at first base. Outstanding play by the young second baseman.
It's all about knowing hitters, know where guys are going to pitch to it, pitch and play to the defense, and that's exactly what got him this base hit. Robbed by Colton Wong. He was able to get up the middle, cheat, backhand, and a strong throw.
One out, and that'll bring up Mike McHenry. Mike making his 28th start of the year. Rockies are 16-11 in the games he's been behind the plate. McHenry got a start in Chicago. He's 1 for 5 on the trip. Fastball beat him there. It's 1-1. Busch Stadium is one of those parks that plays really fair. It doesn't tilt to a huge degree in favor of one side or the other. I mean, offense or defense. You hit a home run here, you got to hit it.
Well, Lance Lynn has separated himself pretty good with the ERA versus Colorado. It's some interesting names on here. You start to look down the list. One of them's out of the bullpen with J.J. Putz. He's at 107. Mike Harkey, now the pitching coach of the Arizona Diamondbacks, 1.35. Lance Lynn, 137. Josh Johnson, 140, and Luis Vizcaino, 140. It's at least 25 innings thrown against the ball club.
It's an interesting group of names, all good pitchers, but they're no, none of those guys would fall into the superstar category. Guys on that list.
Watch out.
That was caught by
the rabbit fur. That's one of those rabbit fur catches. He didn't even want to throw it around.
Let's go. Next hitter, huh?
You got to participate. Let the other guys hang out a little bit. That ball hit right back at him and he just snagged it. Lucky it didn't hit the pitching hand as it came forward.
Two outs. Drew Stubbs will take his turn.
Well, that'll keep your pitch count down when you do that, right?
Stubbs has pinch hit twice in this series. Once successfully, once unsuccessfully. 0 for 6. And a walk against Lance Lynn. He'll throw 2 and 4 seamers.
And he'll mix in a cut fastball.
Well, if you look at the cutter, George, as a variation of your fastball.
Well, it is.
Well, he throws the fastball 85.6% of the time, and the cutter just under 9%.
But it's very still, you know, whoever is watching it, making the charts on it, the cut fastball is 89, 91 miles an hour. The four-seam fastball is 91, 93. The sinking fastball. He's giving you 3 looks, straight, left, and right.
So, but the point of that is that basically he's throwing a fastball 95% of the time.
And getting by with it. And the reason he does it, he can pinpoint it. Last night, Michael Walker, by the 3rd inning, Doug was sitting there, and I said it on air. He's yet to throw a curveball for a strike in warm-ups, facing a hitter, or anybody. And he was trying to find a release on it. Guy got fastball changeup.
3-2. And Stubbs is gone. A 1-2-3 inning for Lance Lynn. His first strikeout of the game. Middle of 2. Rockies leading 1-0.
The Rockies up 1-0 on the Cardinals. Hard to believe the last time the Rockies won here in St. Louis was May the 12th, Mother's Day 2013. We flash back. Jorge De La Rosa on the hill on a Sunday afternoon. He had no-hit stuff all the way through 6 innings. Did not allow a run, allowed only 2 hits. The Rockies would end up winning it by a score of 8-2. It's been tough sledding here in St. Louis. Since 2010, the Rockies are only 3-16 here in St. Louis. They've had 3 starters win those games. De La Rosa was the last one, obviously, as that first pitch is a ball. Let's look at the last 2 before that. You'll know the names. Jeff Francis, July 3rd, 2012. Jason Hamill back in 2011. But they got De La Rosa on the hill, Drew and George, and he won the last time he started here, at least back in 2013.
Well, you know, listen, he always is going to be very competitive. He's had great success, as we all know. And he's a very prideful guy. I mentioned it a little while ago. When you have an outing that doesn't go as you would like, and that's how you would describe what happened in the 4th inning in Chicago. He's just never able to recover and work his way through it. I mean, a pitcher's got to wear it for 4 or 5 days.
Well, it's very difficult to try to live with it and go back. What went wrong? What went right? Was my finger 100%? All those things come in. Since that game Mark was talking about, there's great information Mark brings, as it is on a nightly basis. Castle will make a play. Think about this. The Cardinals starters have had 19 starts since that game we're talking about with De La Rosa versus the Rockies. 14-3, 191 earned run average. 119 strikeouts and only 34 walks and 127. The Cardinals are 16-3.
Much better than a 3-to-1 ratio, strikeouts to walks. So here's Yadier Molina. Yadi's hitting .287. One of the fascinating things about the Cardinals, and it just supports what I'm sure you all know about this sport. It's all about pitching. He's at 287, which is second on the club to Matt Holliday, who's on the DL. And Matt's hitting 290. They don't have a 300 hitter in their lineup. They don't have a guy with 20+ home runs. They pitch. And listen, their offense contributes. It's not a bad offense. It's a solid offense. But it comes down to that rotation that we showed you the graphic on a little while ago, and Mark was discussing a minute ago, and also the bullpen.
Third best, second best ERA of all bullpens in the big league level.
And they just added a couple of intriguing pieces. Steve Cishek, and could possibly see Jonathan Broxton make his St. Louis debut tonight. Good curveball, 1-2 on Yadier.
This is a pitch he'll use versus right-handers some. He likes to use slider, hard slider against left-handers, but to flip the slow hookup when they least expect it.
It's like a fastball away, and it's fouled off. Good pitch down the line, foul. All the Molina brothers historically very tough to strike out.
Well, when they hit 280, it's a legit 280 because none of them can run. There's not any of these slow tap or infield hits. Molina has a stolen base, but that was on a hit and run.
Well, Benji hit for the cycle, George. I don't know how he got that triple.
He ran to first, second, and then he went to third.
There had to
and
be,
they called it safe.
There had to be a train wreck out in the outfield.
Two guys collided. Line drive down the left field corner. The guy dove the ball. He missed it. It went under the glove. It ricocheted off the wall, and it was like a rabbit being chased against the wall by a bunch of beagles. You all know how he got it.
That's probably accurate. 2-2, and that's punched down the line. Fair ball past the diving Ben Paulson. Cargo to it quickly, and hold your horses. Yachty, you run better than your big brother, but you were not going to get the second on Cargo. So it's a one-out single.
I watched him so much when I'm at home to watch Molina, the way he swings the bat. And he does a lot of this. Ball's away from him. It looks like he's beat. He'll poke it through the right side. He'll poke a double into the corner the other night when they were down. The bases were loaded. And then he comes up here and he pokes one right by Ben Paulson down the right field line when you just don't think he's going to do it. You start thinking about it, and then, I got the breaks. But if you wonder why Moss going against the left-handers, because he's hit 190 against right-handers, and he's hit close to 260 against left-handers. That's why Mark Riddle's isn't in the game tonight.
And he tops this one to first, and now they have Molina hung up, and they'll get the double play. 3-6-3, actually 3-5-3. That was Nolan at second base. 3-5-3 on that double play. Nicely done by Paulson. First day of August, Rockies up 1-0 as we go to the top of the third. Rockies fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts and photos. Use Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. And make sure you include the hashtag Toyota Talk. And our first Toyota Talk thought of the night, that, hey, happy 139th birthday, the Centennial State. Getting old, George. Daniel Descalso against his former teammate Lance Lynn. Descalso, De La Rosa, Charlie Blackmon in the third for Colorado, and the first pitch is in there for a strike. This is slowly hit up that first base line, and it stayed fair. Tag applied by Brandon Moss. That'll bring up De La. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more in a game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. So De La Rosa steps up. He had the .065 average. Talking to Jorge earlier, he likes pitching here. I think most guys do. George, you actually made your big league debut, not literally in this park, but on
across
this hallowed ground. The old Busch Stadium. As all of you know, it is a special baseball town. Two strikes on De La Rosa. That's a fair ball. 2 outs.
Oh, Tapper out front. Well, you want to check out the win percentage of active starters with 100 or more starts at the major league level, and it's pretty impressive. Kershaw, number 1, Wainwright, St. Louis Cardinals, Scherzer, Washington Nationals, Jared Weaver, Lance Lynn on that list, and David Price, recently traded to the Toronto Blue Jays, is last on that list. But, very impressive list of guys, and obviously with Lance Lynn, Wainwright, when Wainwright comes back again.
Well, Charlie Blackmon at the plate. He's the reason the Rockies are up 1-0. I thought he hit his 13th home run of the year. And they looked at it at video, on video in New York, and couldn't come to a conclusion, and therefore Charlie was awarded a triple. Here it is. They looked at all relevant angles, and they could not determine where the ball hit after it hit the top of the wall. And that's why they didn't flip it around. Here's the 1-2. And Charlie's going to have himself another hit. In fact, he's going to have another extra base hit. It's going to be a double for Blackmon to go with the triple.
I like the start of this cycle you might see here in St. Louis. The hard part's out of the way. Not that hitting home runs easy. 19th double for Charlie on the year. A ball, an off-speed pitch down and away from him. Took it right down the right field line, more off the end of the bat. Had soft flight, got down into that corner. That's what allowed Charlie to get into second base. Hayward, realizing he's not having a play, soft toss back to the infield.
So with 2 outs, here's DJ. He hit a hard ground ball, but right at Brandon Moss in the first inning. With men on base, he's hitting .365 this year. That's one of the highest marks in baseball. He just had an extraordinary season. He's so good at picking up 2-out RBIs, 42 ribbies, and this is going to be caught by Hayward. He got a great jump, and Jason Hayward takes a base hit and probably a ribby away from LeMahieu. He's one of the better right fielders in the game, and he shows why right there. Middle of 3-1-0 Rockies. Hashtag RMData Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. George, good to see. Let me tell you what, it's always good to see you. But it was really good to see your two older sisters.
Yeah, Judy's birthday is Judy, my oldest sister, Dr. Tyndall, will turn 73 tomorrow. Looks like she's about 50.
She honestly really
does. She works hard, really hard. Has my mother's genes, who I lost in January, that was 96 years old. And my other sister Linda was out hanging out with us today.
Good to see Linda as well, and from Springfield. Steve Piscotty is leading things off, then Lance Lynn. Young kid they like a lot.
He's made quite an impression on Matheny. He talked with him about it in his office today, and it's like they bring guys up. They don't look for them just to fit in. They look for them to contribute. And Mike said this young man has contributed with the loss of Matt Holliday. He plays first base an awful lot, but when you had Mark Reynolds, wasn't going to play there. Holliday went down. The young kid got an opportunity, and starting in left field tonight as he has the two previous games.
Two balls and a strike on Piscotty, and De La Rosa pulls the string. Supplemental #1 pick in 2012 of the Cardinals.
They have a lot of #1 picks that make it, but they have a lot of 15 through 25s that make it. The 15 through 30s. The Rosenthal was one of the dominant closers in the game of baseball.
George,
Seacrest, another guy that went in the 29th round.
You're not going to believe this. I mean, holy smokes, you are not going to believe this, because Piscotty went to Stanford. You guys had the same program that you studied in college.
No, we didn't either.
Yeah, he was an atmosphere and energy engineering major.
See, I don't think they just write stuff down. You know, when you fill out that bio and you sign professionally, you just write stuff down. I think he saw that somewhere and just wrote it down.
Think?
Yeah.
We'll have to double check on that. Atmosphere and energy engineering.
Dougie, I never really knew that you could even get one of those titles. Huh? Yeah, Dougie said he didn't even know they made it. I agree with him.
For me, it came down to atmosphere and energy engineering or communications, and it was a tough decision.
And you
chose the latter.
You chose PE. I know what you did.
Fastball at the knees, a strike on Lance Lynn. See that last tweet? Jeff Hoffman's going to make his Rockies debut in Double-A tonight.
How about I'm just making a little look at that right now?
That would be a nice idea.
Would you like that?
Yeah. Throwing for New Britain this evening.
Just take a little peek. He has gone 3 2/3, 3 hits, a run. He's not walked a batter. He's given up a home run. He struck out 4.
Nice.
Yeah.
Solid.
You better believe it. David Dahl, 1 for 2 at the top of the order, hitting .283.
Again, Jeff Hoffman, 22-year-old, 9th pick in the draft a year ago by Toronto. It's fouled off.
So you got to be careful with Lynn. I mean, it doesn't show up a lot, but this guy can swing the bat. You got to be careful.
Again, Hoffman, one of 3 big arms the Rockies took back in the trade a few days ago. Tulowitzki to Toronto. Swung on and missed, so De La Rosa strikes out Lynn, his second strikeout.
The Rockies' wives will be at All Gates collecting school supplies on Monday, August the 3rd, to support local schools. They're looking for crayons, pencils, markers, and new backpacks to help students start the school year off. So make sure you stop by and drop off some of that on Monday, August the 3rd. Seattle Mariners will be in town. Looking forward to watching that ball club play a little bit.
Here's Matt Carpenter. De La Rosa got him on a 3-2 pitch in the first inning. 23 games in the leadoff spot for the Cardinals. It's off the plate. High. Here's a 2-0. And he goes off speed in there for a strike. 2-1 on Carpenter. The most impressive thing about his 3 home runs in this series, George described them earlier. We showed you the tape of them. All 3 to dead center field. Or 2 of the 3 to dead center field. And that's a strike. 2-2. Ball stroked to right, but Cargo is there, and it's a 1-2-3 third inning for De La Rosa. So De La's allowed just a couple of singles so far. Rockies up 1-0. Cargo will lead it off when we return. half games after taking the Angels down several times. And then the Rangers, who went and got Cole Hamels, they're 7 back.
Yeah, I still don't get that whole deal. They give up an awful lot to get Cole Hamels. I watched Nick Williams, the young outfielder, the other day. Good player. The other young shortstop, young kid, he was like 18 years old, was in the fall league last year. Really good player.
2-0 on Cargo.
I'm just glad it wasn't the Dodgers. You think they'd have designated Hamel like they did the other 8 guys they got?
No, I don't think they would do that. They designated Morrison, then they traded him to the Pirates.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, when you get designated, you got that 10-day period, and they don't have to put you on waivers till the end or whenever they want to do it. They worked out a deal. I'm sure Clint would like to have that right-handed bat off the bench and maybe play a little outfield for him, a little first base. I read the other day the Dodgers have designated $85 million in payroll this year.
3-1 outside. Cargo walks. Lynn didn't want to feed him anything. And the Rockies have the leadoff man on here in the 4th inning with Nolan Arenado coming up. You like the Matt Latos deal for the Dodgers?
Time will tell. I thought they were surprised, but they didn't want to give up on Corey Seager. They did not want to give him in a trade.
Or the other arm they have.
Yeah, the other big arm. He's a left-hander, young kid that's down in Double-A, just coming off eye surgery and just coming back in Double-A. Big arm. They didn't want to give either one of those guys up, and that's who the Phillies wanted, and that's who Detroit wanted. So what's going to happen for David Price? Toronto got pretty good.
Got themselves an ace. Tulo not in the lineup tonight for Toronto today.
Did they end up winning? Mark Burley was pitching a Jim. They were winning. No, they lost, Dougie tells me.
This is lifted down the right field line. Hayward's coming quickly, and he's not going to get there. With every challenge, call the Subaru Eyesight Review. Will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And here's the stats for the season. Confirmed and stands mean the same thing to me. So as we've been saying, it's almost a 50-50 split when they figuratively go under the hood.
Under the what?
Do you remember when the NFL first started the reviews, the referee would come off the field and he'd go under the, you know, it's like they were taking pictures in the 1800s. Smoke would fly, and about 15 minutes later the guy would emerge.
But he was the review himself looking underneath there. They didn't
no,
want
no,
guys running around.
Now they're just sitting with a headset on, listening to
guys in New York working the series.
Listening to bad elevator music until somebody in New York chimes in, right?
I think they watch. What's today? Saturday? They're probably watching American Pickers while the game's going. Hey, we got a review. Turn it on. Let's look at it. Might be American Bush people. They might, or Alaskan Bush people. They might be watching that one.
All your favorite programs.
Yeah, absolutely. They do.
Cargo draws a throw. Cargo need much better. We've discussed this quite a bit, but not looking to steal bases as he's done in the past. Just a couple of bags this year. Nolan drives this one to deep left field. He's got a chance to fly way back. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. 2-run home run. Arenado. His 26th of the year, and the Rockies lead it 3-0.
80 RBIs. Every time you hit one of those 10 milestones, it puts a little smile on the face. Nolan's hit number 80 now.
Well, you know what? It's +1, George. That's how I look at it. Instead of a solo home run, because Cargo is so hot, even though he's leading off an inning, Lance Lynn didn't give him anything to hit, and then he paid the price.
He didn't pay the price. He got a fastball up and wanted it away and down. Lynn didn't get the extension, and Cargo, one of the first home runs hit. Second home run hit in 252 2/3 innings against Lynn. At bats, I should say, not innings, at bats.
And for Nolan, went off in June. That's just his second home run since June the 29th. One home run in July. Rockies up 3-0. That's a big number, 80 RBIs. Rockies, when they hit a home run, 7 games above 500. Paulson fouls this one off. 2-2. Amazingly, this is hard to fathom. When the Rockies do not hit a home run, they have won only 5 games this year. 5-27. That's crazy. Paulson, a strikeout victim. 2 strikeouts in the ball game for Lynn. 1 out in the 4th, and that'll bring up Mike McHenry. Mike hit that liner back at Lynn that he somehow, the glove made a nice catch on.
He had it the whole way.
That's what he'll tell you.
All the pitchers say. All the good athletes stand on the hill.
Nothing Colorado here in the 4th. It's off the plate, 2-0. You know, with all the trades, Frazier, around the trade deadline, you realize that more All-Stars moved. There were more than 50 All-Star games represented by the players that moved to new locations in the last several days. It's the most significant movement in almost 2 decades.
Well, but think about the guys that got moved. Cole Hamels, Phillies are in last place. The Detroit Tigers not playing good baseball at all. Normally those teams are hanging on to those aces. They're not letting them walk or making trades. And so I think when you see that, Cespedes, a big bat, they're not going to keep him around, goes to the Mets. So when you see those kind of moves that are going on, a lot of it has to do with the fact, okay, what are we going to do? Are we not going anywhere? I can trade Cole Hamels and get 5 prospects back. I can trade David Price and get their #1 prospect in the minor leagues and Norris back, a pitcher. I mean, they did some things that make their organization better. It's just a matter of how quick they're going to see it.
3-2, and this ball's well hit by McHenry, left center field, and this one is off the base of the wall. And Michael's into second base with a stand-up double. So the Rockies having good passes at Lance Lynn tonight.
Elevated fastball, they're making him pay for it.
Snaps a 2-for-21 run for McHenry. He hit that one a ton.
That looked like a slider. He just worked underneath of it. Maybe a cutter. You see Molina reach back about 1.5 feet. McHenry let it reach out about 390 feet to left center.
And there were some interesting no-trade situations in baseball. I think everybody assumed the Padres were going to unload a lot of folks, and they really didn't.
Well, I think, too, all of a sudden, you know, AJ's like, all right, I've traded away everybody in my minor league farm system, so I'm going to get something back now. You want Kimbrel? I want your #1 and #2 guy. Yankees really wanted Kimbrel bad, but they wanted their top 2 prospects. You know, that kind of stuff's not going to happen.
Outside
he thought
on Stubbs.
I think he really felt like he'd get hammered more for Ross, Cashner, Upton, and he didn't.
Again, deals can still get done. It's just that players have to pass through the waiver wire in August.
And the way that works, folks, they put you on during this time frame, and it doesn't mean the club doesn't want you. But everybody that's on the 40-man roster, I think they can put 6 on at one time. So as those come off, another 6, another 6. So you can get through the 40 in about 7-8 days if that's what you want to do. But you really got to watch it. Some team claims them. You got to be prepared to lose them or try to make a trade or pull them back.
Two ones fouled off by Stubbs. He's been swinging it well. Got an RBI out there in McHenry. Stubbs 12 for his last 30 at the plate, covering 15 ball games, including 3 home runs. is slowly hit to third. And thrown across by Carpenter in time to get Stubbs. 2 outs. And now you have Descalso coming up. First base open, pitcher on deck.
They're going to go ahead and walk him. I mean, it's basically Matheny's way of doing things. I think it's also the perfect call. Molina behind home plate area. Matheny learned a lot when he worked as special assistant here for the ball club. And he worked under John Mozeliak. And he was able to observe Tony La Russa, a lot of different situations, able to talk to Tony about a lot of different things. Tony, the Hall of Fame manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. I asked Mike today, I said, how's all the kids? He goes, which one? We got 5. Got him around. Tate was a 4th-round draft pick this year out of Missouri State by the Boston Red Sox. Be sure to check out Great Clips charity cuts on August the 5th. Stop by the Great Clips kiosk near the right field area for a free haircut from a Great Clips stylist, and all the donations going to Colorado Rockies charities. Rockies.com, 303 Rockies for tickets in the ball game against Seattle on Wednesday afternoon. He's got a son going to Oklahoma State, a starting pitcher. He's got a catcher going to Indiana that's committed to going to Indiana. That's a junior. His daughter is the next one after Tate. What do you think she does at Ohio? That a baby.
That's a punch to the left field for a base hit. McHenry will stop at third. They're loaded up for Charlie Blackmon. Nice job, De La Rosa.
De La Rosa, you know, he's only hitting .065, but he's got 3 RBIs. So his hits have mattered in this game. Yeah, maybe tonight is the Rockies night and not the St. Louis Cardinals night. And he's just going to poke this through the left side. You see how Carpenter jumped? Not that he would have had a play on the baseball, but he jumped more to the third base line whenever De La Rosa took the swing on the bat. 2 down, you go in a deal to the top of the order. What's Charlie Blackmon done? He's hit a double in his last at bat, and he hit a triple off the top of the wall that Drew and I voted a home run, and we got our votes didn't count. Well, our votes didn't count. Those guys watching American Pickers in New York chose to go with the triple.
Very surprised by that.
What, American Pickers, or that they chose to go with the triple?
Chose to go with the triple. Derek Lilliquist is done with his meeting, and here comes Charlie, a triple and a double. Chance to do some significant damage here with 2 outs. Rockies have a 2-run home run in the inning from Nolan Arenado.
1 for 5 with the bases loaded this year. It's hit .298 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Gets a shot at it. Add to the lead.
Strike 1. Remember you were mentioning he's got a couple elements of the cycle out of the way. Why not hit the granny here, and then all he has to do is hit a single?
Well, you know you're going to get a few more bats, right? It's just the 4th inning.
1-1. McHenry doubled. He's at third. Descalso an intentional walks at second. And at first base, making like Rod Carew, Jorge De La Rosa. 2-1. Charlie's now 4 for 7 lifetime against Lance Lynn. Blackmon fouls that off, so it's 2-2. It's one of the game's great catchers, really one of the great catchers, if not the greatest catcher of his generation, Yadier Molina. A very good offensive player also, but sometimes lost in how good a defender he's been. And a pitch handler. 2-2 on Blackmon. swung on and missed, and Lynn wins the battle with Charlie, and the Rockies leave him loaded. Again, they got two in the frame, though, on the two-run home run to left by Arenado, his 26th of the year. 3-0 Rockies. Like what you see, the Rockies have a 3-0 lead. Blackman will lead off triple in the ball game, and he scored on a sac fly off the bat of Cargo. Arenado after a Cargo walk, two-run home run moments ago. De La Rosa's been very good thus far. So we go to the fourth inning. Randall Grichuk, Colton Wong, Johnny Peralta, 2, 3, and 4 for the Cardinals in the fourth, with the Rockies up 3-0. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout on a most pleasant Midwestern evening. Neat things about coming to St. Louis, we talk about the history and the tradition all the time, and everywhere you look there's a reminder of that. And look at all of those World Championship banners up there. Most recent obviously 2011, 2006 as well, going back to 1926. Here's Grichuk. He had a base hit up the middle his first time. One of two singles against De La Rosa. Top of the dugout, they let you know as well. Who was the first guy you saw, George, when you walked into that Cardinal clubhouse upon being elevated to the big leagues?
Butch Yachman. He was the clubhouse manager and been here since one of the original guys in the 20s. A hard hit ball right at Descalso would make the play. And then next guy I saw walk out was Bob Forsch and Pete Vukovich, two guys that pitched in the big leagues a long time. And then Lou Brock, who's my locker mate, Steve Swisher. Fun team. Gary Templeton, Keith Hernandez, Mike Tyson.
Not that Mike Tyson.
No.
The little baseball player. Little
Lou
second
Brock,
baseman. He's a good player.
Jerry Mumphrey, John Scott, Tito Landrum. A lot of guys.
Colton Wong at the plate. Fouls that pitch off. along with that big leg kick. Twins drafted Colton out of high school in the 16th round, but he chose to stay at home and go to the University of Hawaii. And then you talk about a long trip, George. When he was at Hawaii, he spent one summer in the Cape, playing the Cape Cod League, and he made it worth his while because he was the Cape Cod League MVP. And that has, for many, many years, been recognized as the best summer collegiate league.
Just can't believe he wouldn't sign and get sent to like Minot, North Dakota to play rookie ball, and he stayed in Hawaii to go to college. I don't understand that.
On 2 hops to his counterpart LeMahieu, 2 outs.
Dougie, I went to Minot, North Dakota one time, and I got off the airplane. It was 40 below zero on a Twins caravan trip to meet Puckett and Kirby Puckett and Gary Gaetti.
And it's probably
went to
right?
Minot States there, and I went there to watch a basketball game that night. They had blackjack tables in the gas stations. I remember that. 7 ground ball outs, a couple fly ball outs, and a couple of strikeouts for De La Rosa.
But you know what? Chris's best friend, my wife's best friend, from Minot, North Dakota. Great time. Good folks there.
Well, I had a great time up there. Went ice fishing. I was a little worried when they drove the Suburban out on the middle of the lake. Dougie, I didn't get that whole thing. You're driving, all of a sudden everything's white, and I'm looking around, I'm going, where are we? Oh, we're out in the middle of the lake. And I'm in a Suburban with 8 other guys. Yeah, okay, this is perfect. You ever had a problem here? Nah, last week. Great.
1 ball, 1 strike on Peralta.
Like yesterday, I heard Puck up. Come on, Fraze, you'd be all right. Don't worry about it. Okay, Kirby, you're from inner city Chicago. I know you've been ice fishing a lot. What are you trying to do to me here? Oh, boy. Some of the fun things in baseball you have to get the opportunity to go do. Kind of like De La Rosa shutting out the Cardinals for 3 2/3, looking to make it 4.
Good pitch fouled off. Peralta out of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Originally signed by Cleveland. He's in the middle of a 4-year, $53 million deal. 1-2, just missed. 2-2. Down the right field line, out of play. And another foul ball. Three and 2 on Peralta. Very appealing to the Cardinals despite the suspension in the middle of 2013 because he gave him another power bat in middle infield spot. He doesn't have great range, but if you hit it in his direction, you're going to be out. He's hit 20 or more home runs on 5 different occasions in his career. Home run last night was his 15th of the year. 3-2. And that is a foul ball. Good effort again by Nolan. Here's another 3-2 to Peralta, the 33-year-old. And this ball's well hit center field. And it is gone. Home run number 16 for Peralta, and it's 3-1. Peralta has the most home runs of any shortstop in the big leagues.
Yeah, he's a big man. You let him get his arms out, let him get an opportunity to try to extend himself. And part of the problem with not a problem, it's what the Cardinals do now when you hit a home run. They all form a line in that dugout. The high fives are there. Another look at that pitch. You let a guy extend his arms fully and utilize his leverage and strength. Sometimes the results aren't good if they're able to square it up. And that's exactly what happened.
And you said it. He is a big guy. We always refer to Tulowitzki as a big, strong shortstop, and obviously Troy's that 6'3", and Troy plays 210 in that 205 to 210 range, and Peralta's 6'2", about 215, 220. This is looped in the direction of Arenado, and Hayward is retired to end the inning. So the home run by Peralta has St. Louis on the scoreboard. It's 3-1 Colorado as we go to the 5th. LeMahieu will be first. Ford Tough by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com, and by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Sold out Busch Stadium, and the Rockies enjoying a 3-1 lead as we go to the 5th inning. It'll be LeMahieu, Gonzalez, and Arenado against Lance Lynn. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Check this out. The Rockies hit 400 or better in a month 26 times, but only 5 times has a Rocky done it twice in the same season. Big Cat in '93 when he hit .370. Walker did it in his MVP season of '97. He repeated that feat in 2002. Todd did it in 2000. And this season, DJ LeMahieu, in 2 of his first 4 months, has hit above 400. 406 in April and 400 on the nose in July. Rockies had 2 of the top hitters in baseball in the month of July. Also on that list, just under 400, the guy on deck, Carlos Gonzalez. One and two. Here is that list. Gerardo Parra had just moved to a new location. Joey Votto, DJ, Buster Posey, and then Cargo. Gerardo Parra now with the Baltimore Orioles. Guy kind of under the radar for age, having a big year, was having a big year in Milwaukee, and now on to Baltimore.
I always liked the way he played the game. I mean, he played it the right way. He could play all 3 outfield positions, pinch hit off the bench. I mean, he could really throw it. I mean, he can run. I just thought he was a very underrated player.
I couldn't agree with you more. He always kind of, I don't want to say fell out of favor with Arizona, but he was never getting full-time duty with Arizona. Pretty good pickup for Baltimore. DJ's gone. And that's the 4th strikeout for Lynn. Here comes Cargo. Cargo, a sac fly to the wall in right to drive in the Rockies' first run. Charlie after tripling in the first. And then he walked last inning, leading off the inning, and came around on the Arenado 2-run home run. So Cargo without an official at bat in the game. Goes off speed, a rare breaking ball from Lance Lynn. Cargo took a big hack, didn't get any baseball there. It's 1-1. 2 for 5 lifetime against Lynn. Cargo 8 for 19 on the road trip with 3 home runs.
Yeah, getting a little bit pull happy of those 2 quick swings on the balls away, ran a running fastball away from it. This is where teams, when they have been able to handle Cargo, would go to the changeup down and away. I'll tell you, last night Walker busted 2 fastballs away, and it's like, all right, I'm coming hard in. He came in with a fastball, smoked it in right center off the wall. It tells you he's really seeing the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand.
He went back to that curveball in the previous pitch. It's 2-2 on Cargo. 11 home runs in the month of July. On the outside corner, wow. Strike 3. He painted it.
Wrap around slider.
Cargo thought it was outside. It may have been. Mike Estabrook called him out.
Yeah, watch how this ball kind of wraps around the plate. It's a difficult pitch team to take a swing at. Hey, the Rockies are seeking nominations for the 13th Annual Adult Leadership Award. This award recognizes individuals who have demonstrated a commitment to the Hispanic community. Visit Rockies.com/leadership for more information. Drew, you have a sticky stuck on your forehead.
That was for you.
What is it? What's it say?
It's a note on Nolan.
No, that's yours. You know what Nolan's hit in 55 August games?
327.
That's right, Dougie read your note. You did good. You did what was that Karnak thing with it stuck on your forehead?
It's reminiscing about the late great Johnny Carson. 0-2 on Nolan. 2 outs, nobody on. A lot of teams shift against Nolan. The Cardinals rarely shift.
Well, they don't really shift. They just position a couple of guys. I mean, they don't make, like, you don't see the whole right side of the infield go to the left side. What you do is you see him cheat a little bit up the middle, cheat a little bit into the hole, but you don't see a monster shift. by that. And the Rockies are fourth in baseball with 714. You can see St. Louis 29th with 111.
And that's where the Rockies were a year ago, George. The Rockies were last in shifts a year ago, and they've done a complete 180.
Here's the one thing you don't take into account when you look at all these shifts and you see everything going on. If you have a pitching staff that I turn around and I look at Peralta and say, I'm going to throw a slider, it's going to catch more of the middle of the plate, play up the middle, play it over in the hole a little bit. And you throw the slider and the guy pulls it and he's sitting in the hole waiting to make the play. Pitching to your defense or pitching to where you're telling your defense you're going to go.
The Rockies.
And their infield, and I remember George Kissel was big on this. He was huge on this. Read your catcher's signs, move to the signs and the location. You see fastball away, move away.
Now the Rockies, I was going to say, they've been very successful with it. On balls hit on the ground, batting average has dropped this year compared to last year by slightly more than 40 points. I mean, that's significant. Nolan, a 2-run home run his last at bat, and this one is popped up and playable for Yadier Molina. So it's a 1-2-3 fifth inning for Lynn. Middle of 5, the Rockies up 3-1 behind Jorge De La Rosa.
Also, the former Cardinal, drafted by the Cards in 07, played here from 2010 until last year. He pinch hit the other night and got a standing ovation, and that was not a surprise to Walt Weiss. In fact, Walt said something interesting to us earlier today before the game.
Yeah, I've gotten standing ovations here before from the visiting crowd. It's unheard of, but very classy.
Was that weird? Did you want to tip your cap to them or anything?
Yeah, you don't know what the etiquette, what the proper etiquette is for something like that. But yeah, I mean, you know, ultimately you end up acknowledging the fans, tipping your cap or whatever.
And Drew, George, you were talking about the baseball culture here in St. Louis. Basically sold out every night. Thursday night it was standing room only. I was up around the concourse and people are standing there. You get about a foot. That's the ticket they got, but that's the baseball that you get here in St. Louis.
Well, there's no question. I walked over today at 1:30. The ball hit right at Charlie. Because I was bored. I walked over here at 1:30 today to come over to the ballpark, kind of look, set, and watch them do things. The Rockies were getting ready to hit. There was people standing outside the ballpark, laying down, waiting on the game so they could get in. Tonight was Build-A-Bear night, by the way. But they were standing outside this ballpark waiting to get in here, and it's a sea of red. It's football Saturday every single night here.
And I like what they did with the new restaurants and shops beyond the left center field wall. They call it Ballpark Village, and you can buy a ticket, kind of like Wrigley Field. And that rooftop there, that's across the street. No swing. Brandon Moss with a 2-0 count. There's a good look at the rooftop seating. That's not a bad view.
Pretty nice view, huh?
I guess when the ball goes out to center field, you have to wait for the crowd reaction. 2-1. Well, Seth Maness is up in the Cardinal bullpen. I find that a little bit interesting, only because now with the addition of Broxton, we'll see where Mike Matheny used him. Steve Cishek in the game the other day, but they'd like to lessen the load a bit with Maness and Segrist, because they've been the two busiest relievers in the National League. That drops for a hit.
The thing that goes into it, tonight he's got 94 right now pitches. Talking about Lance Lynn, your pitcher's coming up 2 up, you're up down, you're down 1, your pitcher's up in 2 spots. He's been averaging about 105 pitches per game. So that's why. Now you look at what Maness has been able to do. Yeah, it's been good. 51 ball games, but it's like 40 innings. But you're still getting up, you're still warming up, you're still doing everything. It's just the workload as far as innings is not that much. And he's a 1-inning guy and done.
Piscotty takes a strike. I found that reaction a moment ago very interesting. Brandon Moss is one of the newest Cardinals, and this crowd gave him a prolonged, not an ovation, but a prolonged round of applause on a soft single to left. The reason being, after being hitless in his first 7 Cardinals at bats, they're aware that's his first St. Louis hit. They are very savvy. Very much so. And they came to the plate the other night after the trade, standing ovation. They liked what he did. They were welcoming you into St. Louis. He was 0 for 5. They didn't like it. Got the base hit. Now we like it. Good trade. And Piscotty hits a ground ball through the 5.5 hole, and now it's first and second. Now they're going to go ahead and let Lynn swing the bat here, so Maness will sit down now. Yeah, just shoots it on the ground right at past Nolan, down the left field line, out into the outfield. Jose Kendo with his arm around Lynn just to make sure there's no confusion with the signs. Oh, the Cardinals down 2 runs and 2 runners on. The conventional wisdom would be have them bunt and allow Carpenter a chance with a base hit to potentially tie it up. Rockies now have Mike McHenry going through his signs to determine bunt defense, and also in the event of a double steal, in what direction he would go. And Lynn fouls that first pitch off. I'm looking at Nolan Arenado, George, and as you know, some third basemen turn on a 45-degree angle in these situations so they can see the runner if he breaks, and also be in position for the bunt to crash. Nolan doesn't quite turn that dramatically. He's a good athlete. He's a good, obviously, Gold Glove third baseman. It's whatever he's more comfortable doing sometimes. Got better peripheral vision. And now he's turned a little bit more than he was on the previous attempt. And they went with the slug bunt. I watched their pitching staff the other day in batting practice. They worked tirelessly on the fake bunt, slug bunt, because you get the infield moving, you get line, you get the holes opening up in your infield. Each guy was like mandatory 10 swings with the slug bunt.
that they want him to work on.
And, you know, Descalso did a nice job working Brandon Moss back towards second.
That's a different game for Moss. He's been in the American League.
And a strikeout, and a big one on Lance Lynn. So he does not get the bunt down. And now with 2 outs, it'll bring up the red-hot Matt Carpenter. Go for 2 tonight, though. Carpenter in his career hitless against De La Rosa, 0 for 11. So Jorge will try to extend that to 0 for 12. Strikeout and a line drive to right. '29-year-old Matt Carpenter from Sugar Land, Texas. 13th round pick by the Cardinals in 2009 out of TCU. And it's a high fly ball to left field. Easy play for Drew Stubbs, and that'll put the inning down. Nice job by De La Rosa. We'll go to the 6th inning. The Rockies out in front 3-1 in St. Louis. Rockies first baseman will be first this inning. We want to check in with our friend and intrepid reporter Mark Stout downstairs. Mark, Walt Weiss was telling a fascinating story that I was unaware of. Now, you have a big musical background. You're a DJ. You're a rock and roll guy. And I had no idea that he's kind of a part-time musician. Did you know this?
I did not know it until today. Here's how it started. The comment came up that in Chicago.
Oh, hold on a second. This ball's hit a ton to center field. The Rockies have a 4-1 lead. Ben Paulson.
Give me twice. You're not going to get me again.
That was a no-doubter straight away. And it's 4-1 for Big Ben, his 8th home run of the year.
Boy, isn't that nice? Colorado on top, 4-1. Good pitching, good hitting, good defense. It all works when you want to try to get a lead against a very good baseball team. Like Doyle on the first step, giving the high fives, followed by the rest of his ball club. Yeah, see this pitch. See what was out away from him. That ball started cut to the middle. Ben just laid all over it. Boy, nice swing for Ben Paulson. And a nice result.
Absolutely. So Mike McHenry, who doubled and lined out in his 2 at-bats. And let's check in again. We got to finish that story. So Mark, what did we learn today from Walt?
The conversation started because Rosalita, and he's a big Bruce Springsteen song. That song, Bruce Springsteen fan, that song was played in Chicago, I guess, a couple of times. He noticed it. So then we just start talking about rock and roll. It comes up. Did anybody play an instrument? No. And Walt says, I played drums. In 1992, he had an ankle injury with the A's, and he said he was kind of going crazy. This goes foul. And he said he bought himself a drum kit just for something to do, almost mental therapy. So he'd been playing the drums for about 6 months. And after the season, Tony La Russa, the manager, had the first of his now annual ARF, which is Animal Rights Foundation. They had the gala, they had the get-together. And John Fogerty, ex of CCR, was the artist. And one of the A's guys said, can Walt Weiss play drums to a song with John Fogerty at this get-together? Walt said, there's no way I was going to bring that up. So Walt said, they said, yes, you could play drums to Center Field. As I said, he had bought himself a kit. And he's like, I'm in my closet playing that song every day for 2 weeks. He got on stage, played with the band, knew it by heart. In fact, he said to John Fogerty, you got to play the studio version that's on the album because I can't do anything else but that.
You know, one of the other funny elements of the story, Walt said, first of all, I've never, here's a big league baseball player, and he was a young player at that point in time. He goes, I've never been anywhere close to as nervous as I was there on stage. And he said, and the weirdest thing is, he's not a musician. He said, you can't hear. He said, I couldn't hear anything. So that's why, a lot of times you'll see the guys wearing the headset. He said he got going and thought the song was over, so he finished, and he realized, whoa, I'm ahead of where they are. And afterward, he apologized, and it's kind of like, a team. We always say pick each other up. What did they say, Mark? They said, oh, we got your back.
Picked up, a little reverb here with the lead guitar. He's crashing the cymbals, finishing the tune. And then afterwards, he said he was going to get criticized. Nobody knew. They thought it was great. Standing ovation. Walt on drums with John Fogerty.
Pretty cool. Drew Stubbs dumps that into right. The Rockies have 2 men on, nobody out. So Walt with a little background as a drummer. He also, by the way, one footnote to that, can't stand center field anymore because he played it so many times preparing for that event. Well, Mike Matheny's coming out. That's going to be all for Lance Lynn. Rockies up 4-1, and they've knocked Lynn out. He of one of the finest home ERAs in baseball. Nobody out in the 6th. To McHenry and a base hit by Stubbs, and that has chased Lance Lynn. And the ageless one, Randy Choate, is now in the ballgame for the 52nd time. He's going to face Daniel Descalso here. Choate will be 40 in the off season.
Yeah, he's pitched a lot. 652 ball games, this being 653, 401 in a third inning. Situational left-hander. They don't have a right-hander up in the bullpen. You got left, left, left. So it's his job to get out of this inning with the Cardinals trailing by 3.
And Descalso bounces this to short. It's going to turn into a double play. 6-3 on the turn. And that'll bring up De La Rosa. Well, let's go back to that Ben Paulson home run. Here's the swing. And we're going to show you Walt Weiss in the dugout as he watched the swing and deflect the baseball. See, he mouthed the words, "That ball is gone," if you read lips. Well, De La Rosa had a base hit his last time up, and I've noticed that Carpenter slid over about 6 or 7 feet right into the hole where De La Rosa hit the baseball against Lance Lynn. Throw a hit out here. He's going to drive in Mike McHenry. This bullpen has been just outstanding for St. Louis this year.
Well, this is what Schote does, and that's what Manus does. Double plays, get you out of the inning. You're done. All right, see you later. Now they may have Randy come back out and pitch the next inning, start of the next inning to face Charlie Blackmon.
He strikes out De La Rosa, so he put out the fire. When he came in, the Rockies had 2 on, nobody out, double play ball and a punch out. In the end, the Rockies get another run on the long ball from Paulson. 12 home runs, 248 career at bats for Ben Paulson. Ben Harrison and his son at the ball game. That's a keeper right there. Frame that baby up. Here's the line score. 4 runs on 7 hits for the Rockies. A run on just 5 hits for the Cardinals. And it's a big inning. 6th inning. Here comes that lineup through for a 3rd time against De La Rosa. Randall Grichuk, Colton Wong, and Johnny Peralta in the revamped Cardinal lineup because of injuries. That's 2, 3, and 4 in their lineup. They're going to be without Matt Holliday for a while. Again, he missed 31 games with the quad injury earlier.
They controlled it very well because he hadn't fallen behind a lot on hitters. He's no walks in this ball game. 82 pitches thrown, 26 balls, 56 strikes. I mean, he's worked diligently to stay ahead of these hitters. 15 of 19 first pitch strikes in the ball game for De La Rosa.
It's good to see him without the walk or any walks, because his walk ratio per 9 innings almost doubled from a year ago, and thus his whip is up from last year. Last year is at 1.24, and this year it's at 143. The league average is about 128. On the backhand, long throw, 1 out.
You mentioned third time through the lineup for De La Rosa against this Cardinal ball club. The opposition has hit .261 against De La Rosa when they faced him for the third time of a ball game.
They have not been great against left-handed starters this year. Their batting average at .237 against lefties, 25th in Major League Baseball.
I think their overall record 13 and 13 against left-handed starters this year,
which for a club that's 29 games above 500.
Surprising, but they don't. You know, they face Lester. They faced Locke in Pittsburgh. That hurt because he just shattered everything in his bat and his fingertips. Those two, the couple of tough left-handers within their division. I'm trying to think, in Milwaukee, Cincinnati, you get Chapman, but you don't get the left-handers. So, I mean, you know, and when I'm talking about playing within the division, you know,
Francisco
you see a lot of
Liriano.
left-handers.
Get Liriano.
You get Liriano, but then you go to, you know, you get in the West Coast, you get a bunch of them. Baumgartner, Kershaw, you get a bunch of those guys. But I thought the Giants picking up Mike Leake, that was a nice pickup for them.
Well, he's durable. Johnny Peralta, that's a strike. Johnny, a home run on a 3-2 pitch to dead center field is some 432 feet. In his last at bat, the only run for the Cardinals against De La Rosa. And this is a towering pop up, shallow center. Here comes Blackman, and Charlie's got it. That's a 5-pitch inning. Well done, Jorge De La Rosa. We move on to inning number 7 with the Rockies out in front 4-1, top of the order. One as they come to bat in the 7th inning, and by virtue of that 5-pitch inning for De La Rosa, much guarantees he'll be back out there in the 7th because he's thrown only 86 pitches.
Yeah, he should be fine with that. He's been well above that mark numerous times this year. It's been over 100 pitches 10 times or 8 times so far this year. To start against Texas, he went 102 pitches.
Randy Choate, with 2 of the 3 hitters due up this inning being left-handed, stays out there for Mike Matheny. The first pitch in there for a strike. Charlie, a triple and a run scored, also a double. 2 for 3. Look at this. We have a Tulo jersey on the left and a Spilly jersey on the right.
It's autographed. See right there at the bottom? Look at it. Spilly signed it. See right there? Look.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if those guys are.
Well, they got to be They got to be obviously the Rockies fans, and obviously maybe they bought it at an auction. That's the sleeveless top, the sleeveless white top.
I was seeing George.
Got his camera. Where are they sitting at?
Fantasy campers, too.
You know what? I bet they are. All right, I'll be right back.
You go find out.
Mark's closer.
You're the commissioner.
Of what?
Of fantasy camp.
Yeah, I am commissioner.
This ball is well hit to right, but Hayward looks like he's got a beat on it, and he does. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. That's a great deal. Promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com.
I guarantee you, with your 3 kids, you wear that out. Rocks win. Let's go.
Here we go.
Order up, boys.
Fire away. DJ's at the plate. DJ in a horrendous slump now. He had 3 hits yesterday or 2 days ago. He's 0 for 3 tonight. 5th in the league in hitting when he entered the ball game this evening at .325.
You know, the thing about it, I've always talked about this. You get up on that mountain, you know, and you think you're this, you think you're that, and you think you're going to be this. And when you hit the cement, man, it hurts. It all goes back to that bobblehead guy last night, Lou Brock.
That's going to eat up Colton Wong. I told you, you can't keep a .325 hitter down. So DJ with a base hit. Wouldn't that be something if you saw a reverse shift? I mean, all the shifts, George, are always pull side, right? With DJ LeMahieu and his spray chart, it'd be worth putting a third guy on the right side.
They cheated Wong over a little bit, but he just hit it so hard.
Yeah.
Wong was in the right place to catch it. He just didn't want to catch it because it was really hit hard.
Cargo, a sac fly, a walk, and a run scored, and he was caught looking on a breaking ball from Lance Lynn his last time up. Hitting .427 over his last 19 games, 11 home runs, 24 driven in, and he scored 20 runs. There aren't many players in the game that can produce those kind of numbers in a short period of time. Fly ball left field near the line, and it is caught over there by Piscotty. And that's out number 2. Here comes Arenado, and I'm sure Matheny's going to come out of the dugout. In fact, as I said that, I looked down, and Mike's already crossing the first base line. So with 2 outs and LeMahieu at first in the 7th inning, the Rockies ahead 4-1. We'll have a pitching change.
for live Rockies baseball. At bat is an up-to-minute within the game highlights, live look-ins, replays, radio broadcasts, statcast, and a whole lot more. So get MLB.com at bat now, just like those ladies did it. Well, Maness is going to come into the ball game. He's done that a lot this year, 53 times now, as the Rockies are leading in this ball game, 4-1. There's a couple of outs. Nolan Arenado faced Maness last night in the 9th inning and hit a hard ground ball to Pete Kozma after I bragged about Kozma's glove. He booted it. And Nolan reached base on the air. 3-1, 370 earned run average. We mentioned 53 games now, but he's only pitched 41 in the 3rd innings. He doesn't walk people, never has walked people throughout his entire minor league career. And here at the big leagues has served valuable piece to Mike Matheny in just these kinds of situations. Come in and get him out of an inning, maybe pitch it a little bit in the next inning. If not, just get me out of this inning. Nolan makes it pay. Base hit right back up the middle. DJ will advance to second. Nolan on to first, and Ben Paulson will now come to the plate. Paulson and Arenado both faced Maness when they were in the Texas League, and a little bit when they were both in AAA facing Maness, and then they've got history with him throughout the big league career.
Well, Arenado a 2-run home run earlier in the game. Ben Paulson in his last at bat hit a solo home run to dead center. 2 outs. The Rockies up 4-1. They have 9 hits as they compete here in the 7th inning.
Well, the 6th inning, Lance Lynn came with a fastball, and he said, I got a spot for it. Dead center field. That's right. For Ben, it was his 8th home run and 28th RBI.
And this ball is well hit left center field. And it is over Piscotty's head. Bounces off the wall. 1 run is scored. Here comes Arenado to the plate. Safe at home. 2-run double for Ben Paulson. A 3 RBI night. And the Rockies lead at 6-1.
Go ahead and have a night, Ben Paulson. Well deserved.
Well, he went to dead center, and on that swing he went oppo against Maness. Sinker up, huh?
Yeah, it was. Sinker up away from him. Normally he likes to sink the ball away, keep it on the ground. This only time it touched the ground was 375 feet away from home plate when it hit off the wall. Nolan with the slide at home plate, and the Rockies have expanded it by 5. And here's McHenry with a drive to center.
Way back. This one's got a chance. The leap at the wall. He caught it. Oh, wow. That's not right. Randall Grichuk takes a 2-run home run away from Mike McHenry. A heck of a play to end the inning for St. Louis, but the Rockies pick off 2 more runs on the long double by Ben Paulson. 6-1 Colorado. What a grab, though, by Grichuk. in St. Louis. The Rockies with 10 hits tonight. They've hit the ball all over the yard. And they just lost a couple of runs on that marvelous catch by Grichuk, robbing Mike McHenry of a 2-run home run. De La Rosa will face Hayward, Molina, and Moss here in the 7th inning. And the fastball's in there for a strike. Hayward tonight, ground ball to short, and a broken bat soft liner to third. One ball, one strike on Hayward. Little brother playing at the University of Miami. Look at this from ESPN Stats and Info. Lucas Duda's last 7 hits have all been home runs, and they've all come in the last 7 games. This ball's hit to deep center field, and Charlie plays like a goalie, blocks it off the wall and prevents that from being a triple. That's a heck of a play by Blackman. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody have to do this.
Well, he got back so quick on the baseball, and he thought, I'm going to have a chance to catch it. It hits pretty high and hard, and then he didn't have a chance, but it's tough to retreat back off of the wall. So what he has to do is turn around kind of a self-defense mode. You can see Cargo coming into your picture from the right. He's coming in. If it does get off the wall, Charlie's going to have to do it no other way to just take it and then fire it back in again.
So a leadoff double by Hayward. Rockies up by 5 runs. Yadier Molina's 1 for 2.
Logan and Betancourt, left-right combination for the Rockies, warming up.
Jonathan Broxton's up in his new uniform with the Cardinals.
Yeah, he did. Well, it's a big uniform, by the way.
Very large, yes.
Fill that out for you there. .92 pitches for De La Rosa now. 92 or 90. Doug, I'm looking on the stadium. I know you got the right count. What do you got? 93 is what Doug has.
One, 1 and 2.
$45,216 are here, and Yachty's got his fan club out in the outfield.
They're here every night. There's the 1-2 on Molina, and he got him with a fastball away.
Got him to chase it. That's the Molina swing, trying to go to the opposite field. Trouble is, watch his top hand on the swing. He's going to roll it over quick versus trying to stay more inside out and keep that right hand under the bat to push the ball to the right side of the field.
Basically a cutter up. Got the job done. This is a fly ball to deep center field. Blackman near the wall makes the catch. Moss is retired. Jogging to third is Hayward, 2 outs. Several guys flirting with home runs. There've been some home runs tonight, but Cargo with that sac fly very early in the ball game. Henry just being robbed. That ball to deep left center.
Now you got a little bit of a wind out there. This is where De La Rosa's really shined, though. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. The opposition's hit 139. St. Louis 2 for 9. Take that 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The Rockies 0 for 3. Their runs in scoring position all started at home plate tonight.
And Piscotty back up the middle and a base hit. That'll get the run home. So it's 6-2. Steven Piscotty continues to shine. It's being called up to the Cardinals. 5th RBI.
Yeah, I tried to get up onto that glove. Looked like caught the wrist of De La Rosa. I think it did a little bit. Walt Weiss is walking out. That move's going to be made.
You got Mark Reynolds coming up. He's going to pinch hit. Now, it's a great bounce back for De La Rosa. He struggled in that 4th inning, couldn't finish it in Chicago despite starting the inning with a 4-0 lead. Tonight he'll depart with a 6-2 lead in the 7th. Of the game. Well, Jorge De La Rosa goes 6 2/3 tonight. Did not walk a batter, struck out 4. He scattered 7 hits. Strong performance tonight for De La Rosa against the Cardinals, the team with the best record in Major League Baseball. Mark Reynolds is going to be the pinch hitter. And the Rockies turn to Rafael Betancourt with Piscotty at first base. Looking for that final out in the 7th inning. Well, Walt had mentioned yesterday that he'd removed John Axford from the closer's spot and that he would use one of 3 guys, at least initially, in the 9th inning. One of those candidates, a guy who's done it plenty of times before, that man, Rafael Betancourt. Well, obviously, with him coming in here in the 7th, he's no longer going to be part of the 9th inning, at least this evening. Well,
and I think what Walt's thinking, I got a 6-2 lead. I want a veteran guy to shut this inning down right now. If I run a kid out there and I get a base hit or they do some things to me, because they added reinforcements with Oldberg and Bergman today. Bergman more the long man. Oldberg had been saving games at the AAA level. But, you know, I need a shutdown inning right now. So I'm going to go to Betancourt. That tells you that the Oldberg, Miller, or Canely could finish off the 9th. Logan continues to throw down in their bullpen with Carpenter on the on-deck circle. You face Carpenter the opening night. Carpenter greeted him with a double down the right field line.
And McReynolds with kind of a half swing. Or Reynolds with kind of a half swing, and Mark's behind 0-2. Remember when he came up with Arizona, and the Rockies play Arizona 19 times a season. You watch this guy take BP, and you should hand out hard hats in the stands in left field, man.
He was hitting balls in the Big Mac land today, yesterday when they took BP.
Center field, Charlie coming quickly. He's going to get there, and that puts the inning down. There was a run for the Cardinals as we turn the page to inning number 8. The Rockies in charge 6-2.
Day in baseball history. Back in 1985, there's Vince Coleman. He swiped 2 bags on this day, setting the all-time rookie mark of 74 in a season. He went on to steal 110 that year. That was in his 88th game. He was the rookie of the year. And Vince Coleman, of course, one of the speediest guys in all of baseball. I want to show you some numbers about the Rockies when you're talking about single-season leaders for the Rocks. Willie Taveras in 2008. 68. Then it goes down from there with E.Y. Wampier a couple of years and E.Y. again. And you see Blackman leads with 27 this year. He had 28 last year to lead the Rockies as Drew Stubbs steps into the box against Jonathan Broxton.
Well, Jonathan Broxton making his Cardinals debut. His numbers, George, not real pretty in St. Louis. Yeah, but the Cardinals liked the way he was trending of late, and of course his experience as a closer.
Well, they're able to go get him, and I think it adds more to it. That's the 3rd closer they've added to their bullpen. When you look at it, they had Rosenthal, they got Broxton, Cishek's another guy that they got in that was a former closer. He's pitched in 40 games. He's got a high earned run average. He's still striking a guy out per inning. Those are all impressive things. He's thrown in 582 major league ball games, 118 career saves. All-Star in 2009 and 2010. So they went and got a veteran guy to try to tighten up their bullpen as they get down to the stretch. An already very good bullpen.
Strike 3 on Stubbs. We're not pleased with that call by Mike Estabrook.
Let's take a look at the pitch. It caught the bottom half of the 4th strike zone, just barely. Caught the bottom half of the 4th strike zone out of the hands of Jonathan Broxton. A slider that appeared to be pretty low to me.
Here's Descalso. Kyle Parker's in the on-deck circle.
Nice little quick flip by Colton Wong to get the out of Dos Cal. So, well, if you got a group and you want to come out to the ballpark, get in touch with them because there's discounts and scoreboard recognition when you bring a group of 25 or more. 303 Rockies or Rockies.com/groups to come out and enjoy a night at the ballpark. And you got Seattle Mariners coming up. Rockies will head out on the road again and back home.
Kyle Parker was up for one day on June 9th. He was up some last year. AAA this year, hit 280 with 9 home runs, 58 driven in, and he swings at the first pitch, broken bat, fly ball center field. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Broxton in the St. Louis debut. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning in St. Louis with the Rockies ahead of the Cardinals 6-2. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price in sales and service guaranteed. And by Jack in the Box, for a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. You had like 4 of those, didn't you, the other day?
10. Boone Logan's coming on. He'll get the left-hander Carpenter. I mentioned as you went to break that I thought Betancourt might come back out and start the inning with a 4-run lead, but he chose to go to Boone. Let Boone try to clean up Carpenter, hit the double off of him the other night. 44th appearance for Boone. He's only thrown 28 innings, 36 strikeouts. And he'll come on and get Matt Carpenter to lead off the 8th inning.
You got Carpenter, Grichuk, and Colton Wong. So Boone Logan ready to go against Carpenter, who's been held in check finally. He's 0 for 3 after producing big numbers the first 2 games of this series. And the first pitch line to center field for a base hit.
Charlie thought about it with a 4-run lead, able to keep the ball out in front of him.
So first pitch, base hit for Carpenter. Grichuk coming up. Let's check with Mark Stout again. Mark?
All right, Drew and George, I've got the word on those Rockies fans. That's Taylor on the left, Larry on the right. They're from Aurora. They're here just for tonight. They checked out the Arch earlier today. Taylor, by the way, got his autographed Spilly shirt at the Wine Coop Brewery in Denver. It was the Denver Post Q&A at the beginning of the year. So they're here for the night. They're leaving tomorrow, back to Aurora, rooting on the Rocks.
They got to go to work or anything?
Well, yeah, they got to get back to go to work.
Tomorrow or Monday?
I didn't ask him that.
Well, Goodwin's got tickets. He'll leave him some tickets.
It's good to see those guys out here. Love seeing Rockies fans make the road trips in the summer.
Man, you know what? The Rockies are 1-0 with them in the stands on the road. Guess what? Got to see it on the charter.
That's right. Got to stick around. 1-0 on Grichuk. That's fouled off out of play. The slider touches the outside corner. One and two on Grichuk, way inside, 2-2. On the ground to third. What a pickup by Nolan, and he got the force out. We've said it before. On plays like that, most guys will go across the diamond because the momentum's going that way. He threw the ball really under his left armpit and somehow got the force, George.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this. He fires it, and it's a strikeout to DJ to the backside. That's what you get when you play with guys for a long time. First step reaction, anticipation by Nolan, knowing that the momentum's going to the dugout. Probably not going to have the play at first. I go to second, you get the force.
That's big. Got another left-handed bat up now. Colton Wong. (6-2) Colorado. And Wong takes a strike. Colton a fly ball and a couple of ground outs. One and two.
I tell you, they'll battle you. They're down 4 runs, 8th inning. Got a guy on, 1 out. They're going to try to push the ball around the infield, try to see what they can get done or accomplish.
Randall Grichuk at first base with 1 out. Swung on and missed. A strikeout of Wong for out number 2 in the 8th.
And they'll go down and get Tommy Canley down in the bullpen. That'll be it for Logan. really got on top of the slider, a lot of depth, good velocity. And Logan will hand the ball off to Walt. They'll head out to the bullpen and bring in the right-hander. The Rockies lead it 6-2.
Our CenturyLink link to what's next. Here's a pitching matchup tomorrow. Johan Flande, fresh off his first major league victory, will be opposed by left-hander Jaime Garcia tomorrow. Garcia is 3-4, but he has a very fine 2.00 ERA. We're on at 11:30 with the pregame show here on Root Sports. There's Johan.
Well, the right-hander, Tommy Kahnle, is going to come into the ball game. You have a runner on first, 2 outs. He's pitched in 26 ball games this year. You know, walks are the only bugaboo that really kind of jump out at you. 30 strikeouts at 24 1/3. Left-handers have hit .324. Right-handers $160. He gets Peralta. Johnny's 0 for 1 in his career versus Mr. Kahnle. By the way, Jeff Hoffman, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, 6 strikeouts, a couple of home runs as he pitched for New Britain tonight.
Here's first pitch to Peralta, and it swung on and missed.
An off-speed pitch that he moved away from him. Peralta, a very good fastball hitter. Tommy can run it to 98. He sits typically in the 94, 95 range.
And he throws that devastating changeup with greater regularity. Threw it the first time. 0-1. There's the fastball at 95. Tommy went 2 innings on Monday in Chicago. And Peralta hits it to short. That'll end the inning. Nice job by Tommy Kahnle. And we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies up 6-2, top of the order when we return to Busch Stadium.
because he pitched in 34 games there and spent some time in AAA. The Rockies saw him in the ball game the other night.
What was alarming, George, is the righties down at Miami were hitting .307. This guy's been lights out for a couple of years, and he should be really tough on righties with his arm slot.
Yeah, he should be. Velocity's down a little bit, 89-91. He threw an inning, walked a man, struck out a man, and gave up a hit the other day against the Rockies. He'll get Charlie Blackmon to top of the order for the Rockies.
And the interesting thing is, with Charlie and Cargo both hitting this inning, he's going to see a couple of left-handed bats. Blackmon 2 for 4, triple, double, strikeout, and hit a deep drive to right also. Outside, ball 1. And that's outside, 2-0. Well, right now nobody's up, which would indicate that Walt's going to have Tommy Kahnle try to go and get 4 outs. This ball's pulled foul. Kahnle. That's a look of a guy that's coming back out.
Well, a lot of times young kids, you know, you come into the ball game, you get the out, and he's only been, listen, I know he's up all year last year, but pitching the back end of a game, and you come back into the dugout a lot of times with a guy on, and I know it was a 4-run lead, but you come in and you just exhale and you can, got out of that one, and then you got to get that motor back up again. And I always felt comfortable getting out of the inning, come in and keep that frame of mind, kind of an upset frame of mind. I'm going to go out and get you the next inning too, until the manager tapped me and said you're done.
You don't want to relax too much, huh?
Not at all.
2-2 on Blackmon. And Charlie wears that one. So Cishek hits Blackmon, and the Rockies have a runner on and nobody out with DJ coming up.
Yeah, look at the pitch. More of a fastball than anything. Charlie rolled the hip and wore it.
Yeah, you got a hit and run combination. You got a bunt and run combination. A lot of things the Rockies could do here, trying to get that 5-run advantage, move beyond the grand slam. That's way inside on LeMahieu. Digesting the signs from Stu Cole. Blackmon with 27 stolen bases. With Yadier Molina behind the plate, it is not surprising that the Cardinals are #1 in baseball in nailing would-be base stealers, better than 40%. Kyle Freeland's been moved up to the California League. Charlie started, stopped, bunt at the plate was pulled back. I don't know if that was just a show by LeMahieu. The pitch was way outside, and it's 2-0. There goes Charlie, hit and run, line drive to right, base hit. Blackmon will go to third. LeMahieu is just unbelievable.
Execution, execution. They do a pretty good job of that. There's no question. And it's fun when you're managing a group of guys like this and you have the top of the order where you can do things and create more movement. Walt said that yesterday. He said, I'd really like to get in a spot where I could start being able to put guys in motion, steal more bases. His style of managing, more or less, is what he said yesterday in his press conference prior to the ball game. You see a little bit of it here tonight in the third night game against the Rockies. Gonzalez has faced Cishek 0 for 3 in his career.
That is hit right at the first baseman. Low throw, safe. Diving back to third is Blackman, and now the bases are loaded. Nobody out for Arenado. It'll be a fielder's choice.
How'd that work out for you? Yeah, Charlie did make a bite. I mean, he comes down the line quite a ways. I mean, he's thinking about going to second, double play, give up one more run. No, I'll go get the out. Charlie dove into the foul territory side of the baseball, and so they extended the tag. The throw was not particularly good to Carpenter. Nolan's like, yeah, I got 80 RBIs. You all better duck. I'm getting ready to get a few more right here. Nolan, amazing. It's the first time he's come up, or second time he's come up with the bases loaded. He's 0 for 1 this year.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, you think where he hits in the lineup, you get a few more chances at it.
This is game number 102. Nolan plays every day, and he's come up with the bases loaded one other time. Crazy. So the Rockies, a great opportunity to blow this thing wide open late. They're up by 4, and should be good enough. Top of the 9th inning, but they have the bases loaded and nobody out. And that catches his own. 1-1. Major league leader in RBIs with 80. Arenado, a 2-run home run earlier tonight. 2 for 4. He scored a couple of runs as well. Nolan up the middle, and they're going to come home with it for 1, and they're going to get the force at third also. That's a little unusual.
Well, but it's a heads-up play on Yachty. I mean, he got everything right out in front of him. It really is. Once you think about it, you watch it.
4-2-5. You usually think if you're going to turn that kind of double play over, it's going to be back to first.
But he gets the lead run at the plate. Wong does, with a perfect throw to Yada, and then he's got everything to his left. He makes a snap throw there and gets the lead run. It's just a heads-up baseball play.
Yeah, but I know what was DJ doing on that?
Well, he took off with it. I mean, you know, obviously
he went back to the bat.
Oh, do you think it was a line drive?
Back up the middle, and it is fielded there by Peralta, and Cishek gets out of it amazingly. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's still 6-2 Colorado.
After the game on Rockies Weekly, we'll talk about the Tulo trade, show you some of his career numbers. Also, LaTroy Hawkins traded. We'll talk about LaTroy and an Ernie Banks beyond the box score. Best moments of the week and the highlights from Chicago and St. Louis. Rockies Weekly Sunday after the postgame. Hope you join us. Let's go up to Drew and George for the bottom of the ninth, guys.
All right, Mark. Rockies looking for 3 more outs with this 6-2 lead. Tommy Kahnle got the final out of the 8th inning. He'll face Jason Hayward, Yadier Molina, and Brandon Moss in the 9th inning.
Yeah, so it looks like Scott Oberg's down throwing. He's been closing for Albuquerque. And it appears he's down there warming up just in case. 4-run lead. You hope Tommy go out and shut this thing down and get the W out of it. There's Oberg in your picture.
Hayward a double in the 7th inning, 1 for 3. Rockies employ the shift. And that pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Ball, 1 strike. Ooh, the Ice Bucket Challenge returning in August. That's awesome. Got the whole world to participate last year.
Now, what we're talking about with Kahnle here, falling behind 2-1, missed poorly with 2 straight, blast a changeup. You got a 4-run lead, pound the zone, see how far they can hit it. That was one of Tom Kelly's favorite saying when he managed the Minnesota Twins. Another changeup at 86. The last 3 outs can be very, very difficult for a team to acquire. That's why closers are so valuable.
2-2 on Jason Hayward, and he got him to chase a changeup in the dirt, 1 out.
Well, a big out, and that's what you want to have. That first out in the 9th inning, and he did it in a big way. Came back from a 2-1 count, threw 2 straight changeups, got him to chase on the last one. As Hayward went after it, the strikeout, the first here in the 9th.
Yachty is 1 for 3 tonight. The first pitch to Molina is down. Cardinals a major league best 39-15 at home. The winning percentage of above 72%. And it's a ground ball deep in the hole. Descalso jump throw is going to get Yachty by 2 steps right on target. Well done by Daniel Descalso to get his buddy Yadier Molina. They're 2 outs in the 9th.
Well, nobody's going to say a lot to Yachty. He comes out of the box thinking, I got me a base hit. Flipped the bat over. Descalso backed on that back foot, and then the jump throw to first base. The easy pick for Ben Polson. See Yachty coming out here, and he got the ball, then he looks up and he goes, no way. Yeah, there's a way. Make a right turn.
Here's strike 1 on Brandon Moss. He was an all-star with the A's in 2013. He's behind 0-2. Rockies a strike away. Who wants tacos? Fans, follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Tommy gathering his thoughts. Deep breath. Has a sign. 1-2 on Moss.
Oh, ring it up.
Come on now.
Sometimes you just got to relive the way you acted in the dugout. Come on, ring it up. It's a 4-run ball game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of integrity goes into what they do as umpires. They're going to call it regardless of what the score is or what the situation is.
2-2. And that's pulled down the line. Foul. The pitch to Moss. On the ground to second. DJ's got it. And the flip to first. Ball game over. The Rockies have won a Saturday night special here in St. Louis. 6-2 over the Cardinals. It always begins on the mound, and they